What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everybody, it's Shauno again, and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our round 17 trade time video, where we're going to go through all the best options for the upgrades and downgrades for you out there in the community. Now, before we get going, don't forget we're trying to get to 300 subs before the end of the AFL season, so if you could really help me out, hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, and I'm not repeating myself there, just like the video and leave me a comment down below. Okay, so I think one of the big questions we're going to have to ask today is, should we be trading or shouldn't we be trading? So before we even get into the players who I think are the best options this week, I think you need to really think about whether you should be trading at all. So it's going to depend a lot about your team and what you're going for. If you're going for overall placement, overall ranking, you can probably afford to go down to, maybe 3 or 4 trades. It's not going to be great. You probably really want more than that coming into this end of this time of the season. But if you want to risk it just to try and move yourself up in the ranking, totally understand, and that's obviously not a bad option. Whereas if you're going for your leagues, you really want to have more trades than that. At this time of year, you probably want to have, even in the overall ranking, if you have less than 6 trades, you probably don't want to be trading this week. Now, if you're in your leagues, that's especially so, because you want some trades when it comes to the end of the season, when it comes to the finals in your league. If you're in your top 2 or 3, if you're in the top 4 of your league and you look like you're going to make the finals pretty easily, then you probably shouldn't be trading at all. If you're sitting in 9th or 8th position and you can get knocked out of that top 8 and you want to make the top 8 in your league, then maybe you should be trading. So you really have to think about where you're at and what you want to do for trading this week, but just know that there probably will be injuries. So you got to take that into account, that some of your primo players are more than likely going to get injured and you're going to have to trade them out. So if you're leaving yourself with 1 or 2 trades at this time of the season, more often than not, even with the flex, you're going to be left with a 0 on the field come late in the season. So I'm saying right now, if you've got less than 6 trades and you think you can get away with it, that you shouldn't be trading this week. I haven't stuck to that rule. I've only got 4 trades, but I'm pretty much thinking that I'm not going to trade this week. Can't go any less than 4. That's the absolute minimum that I would like to have at this time of year, and I think it's the least I've ever had when coming into this time of year. So I'm thinking that 4 is not enough. I'm saying that you really would like 6 trades at this time of year, and if you have 6, be trying not to trade for the moment. So if you are going to trade though, let's have a look at some of the players you might be looking at. And we'll start off with the rookies. So if we go into cash cows. Okay, so your number 1 rookie. It's been the number 1 for the last 2 weeks and he's still the number 1, but he's on the bubble this week. So if you haven't got him, he's a must-have. And probably even if you only have 4 trades, you probably want to pick him up. At least he's going to provide you very good cover. The money at this time of year is not going to be as important unless you have a lot of trades up your sleeve. He's more of a bench / on your field kind of guy. And that's Tom McCarthy from the Eagles. With a 133 and then he got 100 and something this week, he has got a negative break even of a 175, which is one of the highest I've ever seen in Supercoach. And he's projected to go up 100k. If he keeps this up, he could be one of the best Supercoach rookies ever. But we'll have to see if he can hold this form, and that Mini McWalter keeps him in that same position. But if he does hold that position, there's no reason why he can't be one of the best rookies we've ever seen. So definitely want him in your team. Now, if you need a ruck, Nicholas Madden has already played 3. Probably don't know when Briggs is coming back. So I think that's a bit risky. I probably wouldn't be going there myself. Harry Ralston, I think, is, even though he's already had one pay rise, he seems like one of the more good options. He seems like he has reasonable scoring potential. He's had scores of, let's have a look, so a 3, but then a 79 and an 82. So when he does play a full game, it looks like it's pretty good. And his job security, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems okay. He seems to be, Callum Ward's out of the team, so they kind of need another mid. I think his job security, out of all the rookies available, is up there. Tom McCarthy's obviously looks like he's got excellent job security. Harry Ralston, I would call it good job security. So if we go down a little bit, maybe if you would like a forward, you've got Archer May if he continues to get a game at 99k. So if you just need to make the most money possible and have a playing player, please check the team list to make sure he is playing, because there's always a chance he's going to get dropped. But at least he's 99k. And so I can totally understand if you're going there. As for job security, not too sure. I'd say it's not great. Once that Essendon team starts to fill back up with a lot of their injured players, he probably goes out. But for the moment, he could be a body on the field, and a 99k body is not too bad. So who else have we got available, crew? Now, here's one that I kind of like that you're paying up for. Jack Martin is playing, he's as a forward, but he's playing in defence. Now, he is quite injury prone, and he is a bit older, but if he is available to play, I think Geelong are going to play him. And he's available, when he is, he can get decent scores. So even though he's already gone up for a price rise as well, I think if you're desperate to get someone on your field, like you can't afford anybody else, and you need a player to play in your forward line in that D6 position, he could hold you down until you can afford somebody else. With a 79 and a 65 off his last couple of games, I think, a negative 32 break even, I think he's still a valid choice. You are paying up for him though. So if you just want a rookie on the bench, I probably wouldn't be paying that much unless you have lots of trades and you want him for cover. Then I could totally understand. If you, much like my team, I have no cover on the forward bench. If I had 7 or 8 trades, I might buy Jack Martin. I might stick him on my bench, and then I think his job security is very good as long as he's not injured. If he gets injured, which he's prone to doing, he'll go out. But if he's not injured, I think Geelong are going to play him. All right, so let's go down. We got Manny Liddy already gone up 1 price rise. It looks like he is going to stay in that team as long as Ollie Wines is out. I can't promise that. Job security, I think, is only okay. If Port were to get some players back, he could potentially go out. Hugh Jackson came back last week and played quite well. So I think he's one that if you need someone on the bench, fine, but just be aware that his job security isn't probably great, and that he could be dropped or they could keep him. Oh, we did miss one forward, Max Ramsden, who's already gone up one price rise again. Had a good week this week, but the weeks before that weren't as good. So I'd probably be staying away for him. But I can understand if you were going to go there too. If I had a choice out of him or Jack Martin, I think the job security on Jack Martin is probably better. Max Ramsden, I believe, is a younger man, so he's probably less injury prone than Jack Martin. Who else have we got down here, crew? I wrote a few down for you guys. So one a lot of people are going to be looking at is Alexander Taru. Hopefully I said your name right there, mate. Only played the 2 games, negative 25 break even. He is a higher price of 163k, but he does have defender forward eligibility. So here's another one that I could consider for in my team. I've still got Campbell Gray, as a lot of us do. If we have a quick look at my team, if I had more trades, see, I've still got Campbell Gray there. Potentially I could put him down here for one of the non-playing players down here, and then I would have someone who could cover both the forward and the back line in case of injuries. If I had more trades, I've only got 4 trades. If I had 6, 7, 8 trades, I'd probably be doing that for sure. But just with 4 trades, I think I might risk it. I don't really want to trade with my 4 trades. So I think he's a very valid option. He looked pretty good when he played. Job security, I would say, is okay, but obviously can't guarantee that he's going to keep his position either. All right, who else have we got down here, crew? We just spoke about Hugh Jackson. It came out. He had a very good game in his last game. He's at that higher price again. I think a lot of us at this time of year will be trying to maximise our money. But also, you've got to take in mind, if you can find a rookie, if you pay up a little bit for a rookie and he's going to hold, a good spot on the field for you through these next few rounds, then on the field, or as good bench coverage, then it could be worthwhile paying up that little bit extra for them. 109 the last game. Before that, though, he only got a 10, a 58, and a 23. So I can't really expect that 109 each game. It might just be a freak score. So I'd be a little bit worried about getting him at that high price. And for job security, we're still not too sure how his job security is either. Okay, is there anybody else here, crew? Let's get the filters down a little bit. Let's see if anybody less than about that much. I think less than that much. I think Sam Butler has had that one price rise as well. Also in the forward line, also for Hawthorn. Job security, again, probably say it's okay. He's going to be a bit up and down. His scoring isn't going to be great. But he looks like he could. He's been there the last couple of weeks. Looks like he could be staying in the team for a little bit. So again, he's got a 55, a 70, and a 31. So okay for the rookie. As usual with every rookie this year, he's had that third round curse where he's had the bad score. So that's kind of, he's not going to do great on the cash gen in the short term. But over the long term, he might be a playing player that you can have. Jasper Alga has played a couple of games for Richmond. He's also a forward. Job security, not too sure. He's done okay. He's at that bargain basement price at Richmond. He's probably more likely to get a game at Richmond than some, if you know what I mean. He's not trying to break into like one of the better sides. He's one of the lower sides. So if he has a few good games, he'll probably hold his position. So maybe he could be a option at that lower price. I think, is there anybody else? There's only one that I was thinking of, which I can't really see here. And I don't know if I'd be going there. Bo Allen Allen's still at 135k, which is still cheap. He's got defender mid status. Looks like he's played a couple of full games now. But he is playing a role that is not really suited to high Supercoach scores. It is the back line though, so he can get 50s or 60s. It's possible. He's got a 69 and a 39, so I'd probably put him at 40, 50s you want to expect out of him. He's more of that key defender type at the moment in the current position he's playing, lots of spoils and that type of stuff. So I don't think he's going to be a great scorer, but he could be a bit of bench coverage for you. And if he keeps away from that sub-vest, looks like the coach is going to play him, but we just have to worry whether he stays away from that sub-vest, which he's managed to avoid the last 2 weeks in a row. So could be an option there. Again, he's got that DPP, which is handy, so that kind of helps out. Now, the only other one, I think if you're looking for a ruck, I think you have to be very careful. Nicholas Madden, as we said, Briggs could be coming back. You got Lockie Blackston? Did he play the last couple of games? I don't think so. It was Vigo who played the last couple of games, right? Oh no, 14 and 15. So he has, and then he had the break. So he is an option for a 99k ruck. If you would like a 99k ruck, he is an option. And you've also got, is the other Essendon boy? Oh, he's only played one game. Vigo. What an awesome name he's got. So I'd definitely be checking out the team sheets, as you do with all the rookies, to see if he's named or not. But if he's named, 99k, he's not on the bubble, so you could wait a week to have a look at him. But you've got the two of them there. Then the two Essendon rucks. He's not 99k, so sorry, he's 119k 900. So he's a little bit more expensive, but potentially he could play. But you got to take into account that Todd Goldstein could definitely come back at any time, and so could have Draper also come back sooner than later. Not too sure on how long he's going to be out, but yes, he will come back at some times, and you assume he'll step straight back into that ruck role. So I wouldn't be expecting them to stay in the team for a long time. All right, so that's a lot of rookies there, crew. You got a lot to choose from this week. I know I probably wasn't that helpful in who's going to be really great job security or not, except for Tom McCarthy and hopefully Harry Ralston. Those first two, I think they've probably got the best job security. And if I was going for players, they're the ones that I'd be going for. And in the forward line, I'd be paying up for probably Jack Martin if it was me, or Alexander Taru with his defender forward status for St Kilda, even though his job security out of all of those guys, the ones we just mentioned, is probably the one that I'm least sure of. Okay, let's have a look at, turn my page of all my details. I did a whole lot of research for you guys today. So let's have a look at, we can do a really quick mid prices. Now, whether this time of year is going to be a time to be getting mid prices, probably not the best time to be getting mid prices, but there are a couple out there that people are going to be considering. So we can talk about those ones quickly. So I really think there's only three that I know of. Now, if you can think of any other mid prices that you're really thinking of, please let me know down in the comments, and we'll talk about them more when it comes to my live videos in the next day or two. But the only three that I'm really thinking about are, what if we went to, I think we'll just look them up for the moment. So I think Kobe McKercher is still at a valid price at $4.38. He's doing okay. He's got the role at the moment. You know that role's kind of been a bit up and down at who gets it at North Melbourne, but he's got the role at the moment. He's got 100 and 98. He did get a 60, but before that, 144, 63, 129. He's a great option as a flex option. If you just need somebody in your flex position, you're a bit short on money, you can't afford one of the big primo guys, I think he's still valid at $4.38. Or if you're in this really good position, you're a top team and you already have 23 primos and you want to get a 24th primo, if you're in that, I don't think too many people are going to be in that position, but if you happen to be in that position, have him on the bench, or have someone else on the bench in the midfield or defenders, and you can use the loophole to try and get the best score. So I think in future seasons that's going to be a thing where a lot of players at this end of the season are going to be doing that with a 24th primo, but this year most of us aren't going to be able to afford it. So maybe you just need a cheapie in the back line. He could be your guy. At least he can go big and can get a decent score. He's probably going to give you a few lower scores as well, but he has got potential to get hundreds or even big hundreds on the right day. The other one is a lot of people are talking about Ned, better known as Sam Flanders or Ned Flanders. Very cheap, superstar in the past. Last week came out and got a decent score, I believe. But there's one thing, so he's got last couple of scores, 91, 87. Then he had before they had a 32, 90, 89. The problem with Sam Flanders is I believe he's playing more of a wing role. And we all know that's exactly what happens with these wing roles. He can get a decent score, one day, and then a not so good score the next day. I don't know if you guys have seen the new fan footy. Where is he? Gold Coast. Now, just like in DFS, it shows you their player maps. So we go to Sam Flanders. So he played quite a lot through the middle. He played quite a lot through the middle, so not so much a wing role at all, even though it says starting at half forward. But if you look at that map, a lot there in the centre. I'd be interested to see if he got any CBAs. Maybe we could look at that for a quick second. 28 possessions. So only for an 87 though. So 28 possessions for 87 doesn't seem great. 9 contested, 3 Muppet acts, 3 clangers. So probably could have been a bigger score, you would have thought. But if we have a quick look at DFS, because I think a lot of people might be considering him. He's another one which could really, if you need a 24th primo, or you're just desperate to get somebody, a rookie off the field and somebody on the field, at his price, you know, that could be a good way to go. I mean, he'd have to go back right in the middle to be getting those big scores. You know, he'd have to be playing on the ball or in defence. I think he got most of his big scores playing in defence last year. So let's have a quick look. As for centre bounce attendances, 3%. So hardly any. He got a lot of ball through that middle, but he wasn't attending the centre bounces, which you'd like him to do that to, to boost his score, even if he could get a few, which would be nice. But I think if you're desperate for a player, I think at 370, just to get a rookie off the field, you can't afford one of the big boys, but you want a rookie off the field, or you want a 24th primo or a flex position, he is also valid. If it was between him and McKercher seems to have the highest ceiling at the moment. So if I was choosing someone for my flex, I'd probably go McKercher, but McKercher cost more, so it might depend on your budget a little bit too. And the only other one that I think that I'd be looking at this week is that, now I know he didn't have such a great game last week, but Callum Mills is still affordable. He had 2 good games. And then he had a 50. Now, the ground wasn't great, but you still would have liked to see more than a 50. So he's gone 69, 107. This 69 was low time on ground as well, so we need to take that into account. So let's take that score out. 107, 121, and a 56. So if you think that 56 is just like a once-off, and he's not going to do that again, 417 is a pretty good price. And if you need, it sounds like a good either flex or D6 if you can't afford one of the big boys. Still could come out and score well through the end of the season, but you never know. I mean, obviously he he has had injuries in the past, so you've got to take that into account as well. But I also think as a mid-pricer, he's a valid option. All right, so we've got a lot to go through, guys, so we'll move on. If I did miss any mid-prices, let me know. Now, for primos, this time of year, I think you're going one way or the other. You either want to move up you want to get the best, or you want to get a point of difference. So if you possibly can afford it, when it comes to primos, you either get the best or your point of difference. So we're going to go through, we're going to do a quick who the best are, and who you should be getting if you want the point of difference. So if we do the midfield first, and say we go who's the best of the best, I'm just going to go really quickly. So the best of the best who everybody has. So I'm saying more than 15, 20%, say more than 15%. The best of the best for the midfielders is you want people like the Bont, even though the Bont has been down, you can think that he's going to come back. Butters, Dacos, Jordan Dawson. Who else did I write down? So all of those guys, right up there, top scorers. Everybody's got them. Brayshaw, 25%. So there's Brayshaw. Who else? Their backman. Sarong, 28% of people have got him. So all of those guys, they're the best of the best, but everyone's got them. So if you want to go with the pack, you don't want to, you're quite happy, you want to hold your rank, you just want the best players, you think they're going to score the most, they're going to be the most reliable, they're the ones you go for. Now, if we go to the filters and we go, who we can go right down here and we can say owned by less than 15%, we'll call it. Because if you want to gain on your ranks, maybe now's the time to get a few pods. If you're up there near the top, you want to be a little bit different in your league. If this works for me, it's not really behaving itself. 14%, there we go, okay. All right, 14% it will be. You maybe want a point of difference. You're going to try and either be a bit different to someone in your league or try and move up in the ranks. Maybe you're in the top 100 and you don't want the same team as everybody else. You want to shoot for as high as possible. Players like McCluggage, Hewitt, Richards, Heaney, Green and Miller are all good options. I think you want to be sticking to these best options. If you go in here and you go by average or go by the last 5 rounds average, like Errol Goulden is one that a lot of people will be jumping on as a pod. Again, I think he's not playing right there in the guts, more of a wing type of role. He kicked 3 goals to get this 146. So I don't think he's got the same role that he's had in former years to score those huge scores. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this is a massive score here. So maybe he can come and, be as good as what he was in last year. If we knew he was going to play the same role as last year, I'd buy him in a second. And he's at only 0.6%. If you want a point of difference, that's going to be a huge one. So definitely one to look at. The ones that some of these guys are a little bit expensive. I can't think of anybody else Jai Cardwell is still only owned by 7.6% of teams and is doing quite well. So I think that we won't, as I said, we're not going to go on too long on all the primos because you just get whoever you can afford. Whoever you can afford and whoever you think is going to be the best, get them. And I think the only things to think about now is exactly what we just talked about. Do you want to go with the pack or do you want a point of difference? So let's move on to the defenders. And since we've already got set up for the point of differences, we might as well do those ones first. So again, anybody under 14% owned. So Lockie Ash, Jordan Clark, Rory Laird, all 3 really good options, all under 15% or under 14% owned. If we go average by last 5, you've got Luke Ryan, Tom Stewart, even though I'd still be a bit dubious about his body, but we know he can score. Luke Ryan seems to be coming back. He hasn't been that consistent this season, but he's had a couple of good games. Miles Bergman is one who's pretty cheap, and he's actually had quite a few good games. Sounds like he could make a decent flex position, or if you need that D6, which is a little bit different from everyone else, then he definitely could be an option. Let's face it, a lot of our defenders haven't been scoring too well. So his scores, surprisingly enough, the last has been 121, 47, 117, 128 and 104 since round 11. So if he can keep that form, definitely someone to look at. And at 470k, if you can't afford one of the really big boys, I think he's a definite option. And he's only owned by 3.5% of teams. So there's definitely a point of difference as well. So Josh Dacos, I'm not too sure we mentioned him, only 6.5% owned. He's been going along nicely. He's got an average of 96. So, there's some really good players in there. The Clarks and the Lockie Ash and the Rory Laird. And even though we haven't been looking too much at Rory Laird, but he's going at an average of 112 in his last 5 games. So, definitely someone who could be considering it, especially when I've got players like Zorko and Sinclair who are supposed to be the best, but aren't putting out the best prices. The best scores. So they're your point of differences, I think. Joel smashed out a 150 this week, but I don't think he's going to do that every week. And we've already talked about Colby McKercher. So let's remove the ownership. If you just want to go for the best of the best, I don't even know if we need to do that. We can, we'll do it. So, best of the best, Max Holmes, super expensive, probably can't afford him, but he is getting one of the highest averages. Over the last 5 rounds, he's averaging more than some of the best midfielders. So, definitely doing a great work there, Max Holmes at Geelong. Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira has been excellent for the last few rounds, going at 120 for the last 5 rounds. So, a lot of people have him though. Nick Martin is right on that border of being a pod. So he's at 15.8%. So he's still close to being a pod. Definitely someone to consider if you have the money for him, especially because he's got that DPP action with the forward line. Could really help you out. The forwards, yes, we've got some issues with the forwards, this forward coverage. If you like me and my team, and with the rookies off on the side off the field. I'm trying to get the words out. So yes, if you need a player that you can swap between the back line and the forward line, because you've got lots of back coverage in the subs, then you can. Nick Martin seems like a very viable option. Connor Rozee still seems affordable. Got a 150 last week. Played a little bit more through the midfield. Didn't get tagged, so it's nice. Jake Sinclair had been a bit up and down lately, but he's at a very good price. Bailey Dale, still reasonable price at 20%. Zorko, owned by 25% of competition, but very good price. So they're the ones you get if you want to go through the pack. You want to get the Zorkos, the Sinclairs, the Bailey Dales. They're the ones if you're going to stay with the pack, and the other ones that we talked about are the ones you want if you want to get the pods, the Miles Bergman, the Clarks. There's some very good players in that point of difference picks, and I think if it was me and I'd be going back again, I'd probably be picking those ones, the point of differences, just because I want to have players slightly different to other people coming into the end of the season. A lot of the teams are looking very cookie cutter at this time of year, so if you've got a few different players to your opponent, you can beat them in the league, and if your players go off and some of these more commonly owned ones don't, you're going to move up the rankings as well. So anyway, that was defenders. Let's have a quick look at the forwards. We'll do the cookie cutter ones first, the ones that everybody has. Obviously, Luke Jackson, 24% of people have got him in now. He's doing great. If you can afford him, get him in. Plus, he offers coverage for your ruck line, which is excellent. Bailey Smith also just killing it. You probably should have him already. 75% of the competition does, but he's awesome. Nick Martin, we just spoke about. And who else is like Petrarca, 33% of teams. You got Jack McRae, it's only at 500k now, probably a really good buy at this price. Someone I'd seriously be considering if you're looking at a forward. Owned by 40% of the competition though. Sam Darcy is owned by 23% now, but doing very well. Had a bit of a down week last week, but he is a key forward, so that's going to happen. The Chad Warner is still owned by 28% of the competition, 460, and I think him, Rankinine, and we'll put them in the same boat. They're probably going to get you around 90 with occasional crap scores, during the season left to go. So if you need a 450-ish type player, maybe they're the way to go, but a lot of people do own them. And the other one is Jason Horne-Francis, who we know is struggling a little bit with that shoulder injury. So I'd probably give him another week. He's probably got a high break even, right? If Supercoach is taking its time today, crew. There we go. So 140 break even, you could probably leave him for a week. If he comes and gets 100, he'll probably go down 20k and you'll get him below 450 if you like the look of him. So I think you've got some very valid options there in the everybody has them. But if you want a pod, let's have a look and see what less than can we get to 16% we'll put. So we've already talked about Nick Martin, probably better in your forward line than your defense line. Matthew Kennedy, had a really good season, only 10% owned. Liam Baker, he does play for the Eagles, which is always a worry, but he's been killing it with a 108 average for the last 5 rounds, only owned by 3.7% of teams. Who else would I consider? Dylan Moore has been performing very well. If we go last 5 average, Dylan Moore and Keziah Pickett, both are at 4.1% and 6.1% owned. Both going along at over 100 average for the last 5 rounds, so it could be someone you could consider. Both under 500,000 and both are kind of a large point of difference. Who else would I consider? Would there be anyone else I consider here? You've probably got a few options, but they're the ones I'd really be looking at. One of these top 5, or of the average. One of these. I probably wouldn't go Riley, but these top 4 to 5 would be the ones I'd be looking at if I was going for a point of difference in the forward line. Now for rucks, I don't think we need to talk too much about rucks. Honestly, you just want to get, if you can afford the big boys, you get the big boys. Whether that's a Sherry, a Gawn, a Brodie Grundy is putting his hand up as a big boy, averaging 5-round average 150. That's crazy. The Grund is back. But Gawn, Cherry, Jackson, and Grundy, all super expensive, but if you can afford them, they're miles above their opponents. Now, if you can't really afford them, you need someone a little bit cheaper. You've got Darcy Cameron, TDK, Rowan Marshall, all in this 550 kind of bracket. And there's one kind of mid-pricer that I would never get, but you could potentially think about. Sean Darcy at 360, super risky, always gets injured, hasn't had the great season so far, but on his good day, he can score big. But with Jackson in the team, he doesn't always do that. This is one of his only hundreds this year. But if you needed a really cheap ruck and you couldn't afford anyone else, I could understand why you went with Sean Darcy. Just be knowing that he could definitely get injured. Did we talk about rucks for Vigo? I think we did talk about the rookie rucks. So that's rucks. I think this has been a bit of a long video, crew. I think there's a lot of choices of what to do, but I think the best things to decide this round is, 1, whether you're going to trade at all or not, and how many trades you think is okay for the end of the season. I'm saying that in an ideal world, I'd want 6 or more trades from here on. And if I had 6 or less trades, I wouldn't be trading. Unfortunately, we're not all going to be in a situation where that's okay. Some of us are going to have injuries. Some of us are just going to try and get players on the field who aren't rookies. So in those cases, if you're going to trade and go down, that's fine. And then I think the second decision is whether you want to go with the pack or go with a pod, with a point of difference. So think about those things first, and then pick the best player for you, whether it be price-wise or just who you like to watch and get in your team, or who you think is going to move you up the ranks opposed to other players and other teams. So I hope you all liked that video. I know there was a lot to go through there. If you did like it, please give me a like down below, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to see the live videos coming up the next day or two where we can have a chat about some of these players and generally everything Supercoach that you want to talk about, I'll even put your team up on screen and we can go through your team and try and work out what's best for you. So they'll be coming up. If you hit that notification button, that'll tell you when I go live. And I really appreciate everyone for hanging out with me today. I hope you all have a really good day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take it away, Skip.